What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Season 11, Episode 1. So it's a brand new season of 90 Day Fiance. 90 Day Fiance, it is the OG. This is where it all started, where it all originated from. And so now we are in Season 11. So let's get right into it. Matt, Amani, and Ani. So this is a polyamorous relationship. They call themselves a thruple. So Matt, Amani, and Ani, they are all involved with each other. And the reason why I'm making that distinction is because if you are familiar with the show Sister Wives or Seeking Sister Wives, not Sister Wives, Seeking Sister Wives, on that show, the man will have multiple wives, but the wives are not involved with each other. It's just the man who's sexually involved with all the women. And in this situation, Matt and Amani and Ani, they're all involved with each other. So they're all commingling, intermingling. They're all sexually involved with each other. Amani does tell us that she does consider herself bisexual, so it makes sense. So a brief background on Matt and Amani. So Matt and Amani have been married for quite a few years, at least a decade, I think. I think they met back in college. So they met back in college. They've been married for at least 10, 12 years, maybe more. They have two daughters together. Amani is originally from Tunisia. So at some point, I think when she was about 18 years old, she immigrated to the United States. So they have a girlfriend, Ani, and Ani currently lives in Mexico. They met her on a trip to Mexico. I think they're at a strip club. I'm not sure if Ani was a dancer or if she was a patron of the club. I don't know, but they met her at a strip club. Sparks flew at 3 o'clock in the morning. They took it to the champagne room, and the rest is history. So Amani is trying to explain to us that polyamorous relationships always get a very bad rap because people only focus on the sexual part. Like, wow, you have multiple people in a relationship and they're all having sex, and how do you do it? What's going on? Everybody wants the details. So she tries to explain to us that it's more than just that they are an actual thruple, and that they're trying to figure out blending their families together, that there's a wholesome part to all of this polyamory, and it's like a regular relationship, but it involves more than two people. And so there's like a wholesome side to it. But while she's talking about this wholesome side to their throuple, they're showing us a scene where her and Matt are doing this role play. Okay, they're role playing. She's the nurse, he's the doctor or the patient or something. They have Annie on FaceTime, and they're doing this whole sexualized role playing thing. And then when they show us pictures of them together with Ani in Mexico, all the pictures show the women in these, scantily clad bikinis. Everybody's kissing each other. And so I'm trying to waiting for the wholesome pictures to show up, the wholesome footage to show up, but we never get around to that. But she wants us to believe that they're also a very wholesome, healthy throuple. Okay, so in order to get Ani to the United States, Matt and Amani will have to get a legal divorce because Matt plans to apply for the K1 visa to get Ani here. So Ani is going to apply for the K1 visa, and if she gets approved, then once she lands in the United States, then her and Matt will have 90 days to get married. Now, my question is this, and I've seen this all on Seeking Sister Wife, because there was a couple on Seeking Sister Wife where their third person lived in Brazil. And so the American couple got a divorce, and we saw that whole process play out on television. They went to court, they got a legal divorce, and then the man proposed to the girl in Colombia. She said yes. They applied for the visa. She got approved, but there were some issues in their relationship where the girl never ended up coming to America. But I've seen this process before where the American couple has to divorce in order for the man to apply for the K1 visa for the foreign girlfriend. Okay, fine. So this is what they plan to do. So my question is, do Matt and Amani plan to remarry after Ani comes to the United States and marries Matt? And if they do plan to remarry, how long will Matt and Ani have to stay married before they can get a divorce, and then Matt remarries Amani? That's my question. And also, if they're going to get a divorce, do they have to go through the I guess there's no separation of property because they're still going to be living together, but I wonder what else is going to be involved besides just a divorce. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's all that it is. It's just a divorce. But I don't even know how you explain this to the kids. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on from there. So the next time that we see Matt and Amani, they're hanging out with their friends. I think their friends are also a couple. I wasn't sure. It was a man and a woman. They're hanging out with their friends on a boat out on the ocean. And they're telling their friends that this is serious with Ani and that they plan to bring her here to the United States. And this is their forever girl. She's going to stay with them forever. This is going to be the dynamic of their new family. She also has 3 children. Ani has 3 children. She has 2 like teenage older kids, and then she has a little girl. And they plan to bring, I don't know if all the children or just the younger. I don't know what's going on, but they're telling their friends this is happening. This is real. We're going to get a divorce so that Matt can marry Ani and get her over here. And their friends are like, y'all are going to be doing what? And so their friends are like, hold up, this is moving a little bit way too fast. And then Amani tells the friends, well, y'all were there when we met Ani at the strip club. So y'all know the chemistry that was going on between us. And the friends were like, yeah, we saw that. Yes, we witnessed that. But y'all don't really know this woman. And now y'all are going to go through this whole legal process of getting a divorce for a woman that you barely know. And Amani tells the friends, well, we've known her for a whole year. And me and Matt, we knew each other less than that when we got married. And the friend says, but y'all have known her for a year, but it's not like consistent. Okay, y'all are hopping back and forth between here in Mexico, but it's not like y'all are really spending a year with her. Y'all are only going there like when y'all are on vacation. Y'all spend a couple of weeks with her or a couple of days with her, then y'all come back. So it doesn't total really to a year of a relationship. So y'all truly don't know this woman. And then the male friend brings up, well, because he himself was also in a polyamorous relationship. And he tells them the reason why my polyamorous relationship didn't work out was because there was jealousy involved. The 2 women began to kind of have their own little thing going on, excluding me. And they would have their own little inside jokes, and they would have this whole entire relationship going on that I wasn't really involved in anymore. And I felt really left out. So then Amani tells us in her confessional, she tells us that she also has a jealous streak. She does have a tendency to get jealous. And so I don't know how this is all going to work out. You have these 2 very attractive women, this also very attractive guy, and they're all involved with one another. It just seems like a recipe for disaster. That's what it all seems like to me. It seems like it's a recipe for disaster, especially when, Amani comes off pretty, headstrong, dominant. Y'all, I don't know how this is going to work out, but 90 Day Fiance has really gone off the deep end with this. Let's move on to Mark and Mina. So Mark is 58 years old. Mina is 35. Now let's talk about Mark. Mark is 58. He is a pilot. He flies private jets. He tells us about how he has flown some really famous people all over the world, politicians, entertainers, etc. He's done it all. So he's a very experienced pilot. He has 2 adult children, a boy and a girl. We do end up meeting his 27-year-old daughter in this episode as well. And he has been previously married, and I think he was also previously engaged as well. So he had a very tumultuous divorce. After that, he met a young lady. That didn't work out, and now he has met Mina. Now, Mina is 35 years old. She lives in France. He said that he was on a trip to France. He stopped by France, and he was in a restaurant to get a cup of coffee or something, and he sees this woman from across the room, and their eyes locked. And he made a joke and said, I don't know why her eyes were locking with mine, because this woman was so beautiful. She could have any man she wanted in that restaurant, but for whatever reason, she zoned in on me. Maybe because you're older, American, and she can smell the money off of you. I don't know. So 6 months after that, they got engaged. No, they got engaged at some point. I'm not sure how long they knew each other before they got engaged, but they ended up getting engaged. 6 months after the engagement, Mina got pregnant. And now they have a baby girl named Maria. His family, of course, is very skeptical of this whole entire relationship. I understand them being skeptical about maybe Mina being after him for his money, but I don't think she's after a visa. And the daughter did mention something about, or he said that his kids or his family or whatever, they're worried that Mina might be using him for a green card. And I'm like, she's coming from Paris, France. Like, why would somebody from Paris, France be I don't understand. I'm not saying anybody can come to America, fine, whatever. But it's not like she's coming from some poverty-ridden country trying to, escape this really dire situation. No, she's coming from Paris, France. So I don't think her focus is getting a visa. Her focus might be his bank account, but I don't think it's about getting a visa. So the family is really unsure about all of this. And his older daughter, we get to meet her. She tells us that they had gone to France, his whole family, his parents, I think, I don't know, his kids, they all went to France for Maria's baptism. And the daughter tells us that the whole family was there, and Mina was like 3 to 4 hours late. She had everybody waiting for 3 to 4 hours. And so her first impression, the daughter's first impression of Mina is extremely negative. She saw that as her being very selfish and considerate of others' time. And so she right off the bat didn't really care for Mina. Plus the fact that she thinks that Mina is using her dad for money. So after that, let's see, where are we here? Okay. The daughter says that Mina hasn't really made an effort to get to know his family. So that's also a red flag for her. And she thinks that Mina obviously is after her dad's money. So Mark tells his daughter that him and Mina, they already have a baby girl, right? And the daughter is like struggling with that. And then he tells his daughter, we're thinking about having another baby. And so the daughter was like not feeling that at all whatsoever. Um, yeah, so him and Mina are trying to have or thinking about having a whole nother child. Okay, so Mark tells us that his fiance and his children have to get along. They have to come to some mutual ground. And I'm thinking, or what? Or what? What if they don't get along? What if they never like each other? What are you going to do about it, Mark? You're already engaged to Mina. You already have a baby with Mina, so you're already connected to her. So if they don't get along, then what? You're going to break off the engagement? Like, what are you going to do? Y'all, let me tell you something. The way that I see this, whenever I see a guy like Mark with a woman like Mina, who seems a little bit unhinged from the previews that we saw from upcoming episodes, I feel like what's keeping them together, the glue that is keeping them together is sex. That's the only thing that's really keeping them together. I think that Mina is rocking this old man's world. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's absolutely obsessed and addicted to how she throws it down. And so whatever Mina wants, Mina gets. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's like an age-old story. I'm not saying anything new. That's basically what it is, right? While the older guy is chasing around some woman who is like, what is she, almost 20 years younger than him? What else could it be but that, right? He can't even think straight because, she's got him like completely addicted. Okay, so what else is going on? The daughter asks if he's going to get a prenup. And he's really hesitant about getting a prenup because Mina's crazy. He's hesitant about getting a prenup. And he tells us that after his divorce, he met a young lady. We saw pictures of her. She's very similar to Mina as far as appearance. He met a young lady. They hit it off. They got engaged. But then when he brought up the prenup, this young lady didn't like it. And they ended up breaking up. It was so bad that she just broke up with him. So he's worried that he's going to lose Mina the same way he lost his previous girlfriend. And this is the reason why he's hesitant about bringing up the prenup. And yeah, also because he's probably scared to death of Mina. Okay. Like I said, from the little snippets that we got of upcoming episodes, Mina seems a little bit unhinged. Moving on to Jessica and Juan. So Jessica lives in Wyoming in the middle of nowhere on a cow farm. Juan is from Colombia. They met on a cruise. She gives this very long story about how she used to be married, and her husband, and a couple of their friends had planned to take a cruise. It took them a year, I guess, to save for the cruise. When it came time to get on the cruise, her and her husband had already broken up, but I wasn't clear if they still went on the cruise together or if she went on the cruise by herself without him. I wasn't really clear. But she gets on the cruise and she meets Juan, who was a bartender on the ship. And that's how they met. Now, Jessica is she's a counselor. She's a mental health counselor, private practice. She has 2 children from her marriage, I'm assuming. And then her third baby is from Juan. So after she met Juan, they hit it off, and then COVID hit, so they couldn't see each other for a while. And then after the lockdown, she started traveling to Colombia, I think, or was she getting on cruise ships to see him? I forgot. I don't know how they were seeing each other. I think they were seeing each other on cruise ships. So she would go on vacation. I guess that's where they would, meet up again. And during one of these trips, she got pregnant. And so now she has a baby that's about like almost a year old or something. Okay. So when the baby was a few months old, her and Juan met in Galveston, Texas, for him to have the opportunity to meet his child. And he is expected to arrive now in Wyoming in a few days. So like I said, Jessica is a mental health counselor. And I'm glad that she is, because I think her boys might be needing some counseling when all this is said and done. Because y'all, the thing is this, she's known this guy for a while, right? But it's not a consistent relationship because they were never in the same country, right? So her boys adore him, they love him and everything, but it's not like, having a relationship where y'all are in the same city or state or whatever, where y'all are seeing each other consistently, and he's having an opportunity to really grow and bond with his future stepchildren, and he's part of their day-to-day lives. It's not like that, before he moves in. He's in a whole nother country or on a ship somewhere or something, and now all of a sudden he's going to be living in their home. And it's fun and games when he's on FaceTime, when you have like a FaceTime, you're bonding with your mom's boyfriend through FaceTime and through vacations. It's fun and games. But then when he's there every single day, that's when real life begins. And I don't know if anybody's really prepared for that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's really excited to see each other, but are they really prepared for that day-to-day dynamic? Okay, so we see her shopping before he arrives. She's out with her friends and she's shopping for winter clothes for Juan, because he doesn't have the winter clothes that are necessary because he lives on a damn cruise ship. So he's not used to Wyoming winter. So she's buying some winter clothes for him, and she's having a conversation with her girlfriends, and she's telling her friends that there was a situation where a woman had reached out to her right after they had gotten engaged. They were like 8 months into their engagement, and a woman reached out to her, I guess on social media, and said, "Hey, I know Juan. I met him on a ship and we hooked up. Just wanted to let you know, just heads up, FYI, I hooked up with your fiance." And so her and her friends were talking about this, and her friends were like, "I don't know how you can trust him. We're really worried about you. This is not a good idea." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I talked about it with Juan, and Juan denied it, so we just agreed to move on." So her friends were like, "Okay, we want you to move on. We want you to be happy with them if that's what you want, but we don't want you to forget. You can forgive them, but just don't forget what happened." So she's, I guess, trying to move past all of that. He said he doesn't know who the woman is. It didn't happen, and she's going along with that. Okay, and so her friends, though, look like the kind of friends are going to be a little bit too involved in her relationship with Juan, and I don't like those kind of friends. I don't think that friends should be having like direct conversations or interrogations with your mate, because one of her friends says, "Well, she might be cool with whatever he told her, but I'm still not cool with it. So when he comes to Wyoming, I'm going to have a very hard conversation with him about this." And I'm like, who are you to do that? If she's okay with it, just let it go. If Jessica is fine with whatever Juan told her and she wants to believe whatever he said, let it go. Don't turn into some detective to try to get to the bottom of something. Like, just don't do it. Just be a friend to Jessica, support her in every way you can, but try to avoid getting all muddled up and mixed into her relationship like that. Because when you and Juan are having conflict, trust and believe Juan and Jessica are good. Juan laid it down the night before and, had her screaming off the mountaintops, and she's happy with him. She's content with him, and you're still feeling some kind of way. So now you can't move on with it. So just stay out of it. Okay, so yeah, the friends need to completely stay out of it. So it's the day of Juan's arrival. The kids are really excited. Her boys are really, really excited about meeting up with Juan, seeing Juan not for the first time, but just having to see him, period. They're really excited to see him. So they're at the airport, and when they see him, her youngest boy runs to him, runs into Juan's arms. So there's definitely a connection there. They really adore this guy, and he adores them as well. And so I'm just like worried about Juan. Like, how is he going to adjust from living this, life of a single man on a cruise ship? I mean, it's still work, but it's fun work. I'm assuming living on, working on a cruise ship, and now you're in Wyoming, in the middle of nowhere, out on a cow farm, and now you're daddy to three children, two of them who are not biologically yours. So that's going to be quite interesting. Let's move on to Stevie and Motty. So Stevie is 37 years old. She lives in Mississippi. She is a single mom. She's an artist. She's also an online teacher. She teaches English to, I guess, foreign students from all over the world. And that is how she met Motty. He was in one of her classes, which I'm not understanding why he was in her class because he speaks really good English. So, like, I didn't understand that. I must have missed something. So, Motty is from Tehran, Iran. And due to political conflicts, she could never travel to Iran to see him. So, when they did finally meet each other in person, they met in Turkey. And on one of their trips, they got engaged, and now it's been about a year, and his visa has now been approved. So Stevie's mom and her sisters both know of her relationship with Motty. The only one who doesn't know is her dad. So the day before Motty is expected to arrive in Mississippi, she decides to come clean with her dad and let her dad know that she's seeing this guy, or she's engaged to this man who's about to arrive in the United States, and she's going to be getting married to him. And the reason why she's so hesitant to tell her father, and why she hasn't told her father, she tells us that her father bleeds red, white, and blue. And I'm like, girl, what does that mean? He bleeds red, white, and blue. Are you trying to imply that he's not very accepting of people of different cultures, different races? Like, what are you trying to put down that I'm just not really picking up here? Like, what does that mean, Stevie, that your dad bleeds red, white, and blue? Because I'm getting worried. So she says that, her father is not going to take a liking to the fact that he's from Iran, because the relations between the United States and Iran is not good. And I'm like, okay, yeah, are you trying to let us know that your dad is racist? Is that what you're wanting? Are you trying to allude to? Like, what's really going on, Stevie? So her dad also has a medical condition. He was diagnosed with some type of lung disease. And so his health is not very good right now. And so she has to be very careful with, putting a lot of stress on him. So she goes to see her dad. She sits him down and she tells her dad that, remember when I went to Turkey that one time? Well, I went there to meet a man, and we hit it off, and everything went really well, and I really want to be with him, and he really wants to be with me, and he's going to be arriving tomorrow, and now we have 90 days to get married. And the first thing her dad says is, no, you're not. And she's like, yeah, we are, Dad. We're going to be getting married, and we have 90 days to do that after he arrives. So she tells her that he's from Iran, and so he tells her, well, those people don't like us. They don't like America. And she's like, well, he likes me. And so then her dad is like, so is he going to make you like dress modestly and tell you not to drive and try to control your life? And she's like, no, Dad, he's not like that. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because y'all, I cannot take another season of of a Muslim man trying to convert an American woman and her constantly fighting it. I cannot take another season of that. So Stevie tells us that Motty is not like that. So he's not going to try to impose any of whatever on her. He's perfectly okay with who she is and what she is. So then she tells us that once he comes to America, he probably will never be able to see his family again, because he probably won't be able to travel back to Iran. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. That's what she tells us. That's what we got to go with. Because I was going to say, well, can't they meet somewhere else? Like everybody else is doing. Everybody's meeting up in Turkey whenever there's, political conflict or whatever, or wars going on. Can they meet in Turkey? I mean, is it like he will really never, ever, ever see his family again? But that's what she told us. So that's what we got to go with. Moving on, y'all. Shekinah and Sarper are back. Shekinah and Sarper are back. Okay, so this is what it is. They went to the U.S. Embassy because Sarper was going to have his interview for his visa. And Shekinah tells us that Sarper has reservations about coming to the United States. He doesn't want to leave his family. He's very close to his parents. He's an only child. His parents are getting older. He wants to be close to them. And so then when he comes out from his meeting, he's looking really sad. And she's like, oh my God, Sarper, what's wrong? What's wrong? And we know that he got approved because we saw him on the tell-all. And I don't know if, they forgot, but the producers forgot. I don't know what's going on, but They already told us, we already know that Sarper was able to come to the United States. So this fake melodramatic scene was a complete waste of time. Let's just get Sarper in here and get started with that. Let's just start from there after he arrived in the United States. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much. Another season of full-blown shenanigans, but whatever. I'm here for it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.